So
I don't have time because my phone is. Oh, we're live. Hi, guys. Looks like we're
well,
live.
sorry about
What's
that.
up? No worries. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Friday with the fellas. I'm Sonya. Got B and James joining me. What's up, guys? How are y'all tonight?
What up, dude?
Doing what it do.
Yeah, I'm doing great as well. I want to give a special shout out. Today is my mentor's first heavenly birthday, Judge Ronald Ramsey. Today is his birthday. Of course, we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary that he passed, but I'm just so grateful to him. So I want to dedicate tonight's show. He used to always support me. He would talk to me about it when I would come to court. He'd be like, Miss Pearson, I just saw your show. You know, you really know your stuff. And so I just want to dedicate tonight's show to him. Definitely still sending prayers out. I texted with his wife this morning, Miss Doris. So, and the children and everything, granddaughter. So just wishing him a first heavenly birthday. And on some positive notes, Pearson has officially moved in. I told you guys on Wednesday she moved in. She had to come back home for a little bit. She had an appointment yesterday. So last night was her first real night in adult land at UNC Charlotte. Thank you, everyone who supported her on all the fundraisers and everything we've had. B, you and James, and let me market everything. I mean, she's had so much love from people that I didn't even know personally that just watched the show and wanted to support. So thank you. And she's well on her way now to being a
She's our
nurse
daughter.
practitioner. She is. She
She's our
is.
daughter now. Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
Is
Pearson,
that the? You said that was the Honorable Judge Ronald Ramsey.
absolutely. And I have his picture on, all my stuff. Yeah. Ronald B. Ramsey
Okay.
Sr. Yes, so today's his birthday, and ironically, in 2 weeks is my dad's birthday. So August is just my dad's birthday, rounds out the month on the 31st. But we're going to keep it all smiles here because those were two great men, and I'm very grateful. They are the reason why I'm here. But y'all, football is officially back now. I saw you guys last week when I was in Canton. And I was at my little Airbnb, had some tech issues then, and those have continued. So apologies for the Wednesday episode. I tried to get on and do at least a half hour, but you guys, we're live now and everybody can hear me. So we're here and I'm back in Atlanta. And what a fun trip that was. The next day, I actually high fived Drew Brees. James, you remember I was telling you, I hope I got a chance to see him. Um,
Yes.
I talked to Luke Kuechly, even though his little cock blocker was right there. Like, lady, are you kidding me? Like, she literally, everybody was coming out. Like, other people were in the background coming out to kind of like high five Luke or whatever. And his dad and Luke raises his hand to high five me. And just as he gets ready to it, I get ready. She's like, "Oh, you
I
can't touch
saw
him."
that.
And I'm like, I said, "He's getting ready. He's got his hand up." She's like, "I know." She was like, "You shouldn't be touching them." I'm like, "Girl, Drew Brees just let me touch him." And let's be clear, Drew is the real reason for this whole experience that it's been attended as well. Because when I tell you it looked like a Saints game up in here, it was so many Brees. I was this close to getting a Brees shirt because I love Drew Brees, but I knew that I had a Panther going in. Saw a lot of Panther greats. Saw Trey Boston, fist bumped him because where I was sitting, they were walking by. Saw Thomas Davis, saw Greg Olson. Lots of Panthers greats there. And they came so quick, I wasn't prepared to take pictures. So I just fist bump and kept it going. Jonathan Stewart was there. A lot of the 2015 team was there. I saw Coach Ron Rivera, spoke to him. Did not see Cam. Do not know why, but Cam was not there. Let me think who else was there. It was JP was there, Julius Peppers. I saw everybody. When I tell you my seat was in a great area because the Panthers little tunnel was right there where they were ushering in all of Luke's people. So I saw Luke's family, and then I started seeing everybody else, coming. I was like, oh my God, this is like the whole 2015. And everybody was kind. I was like, hey, what's up? And they spoke. Trey Boston was super hyped up. He was like, let me get some. So I fist bumped him, and I was like, okay. Shaq Thompson was there. Just a really, really, really good time. And Tom Brady was there, y'all. Now I didn't see Tom, but when Adam Vinatieri gave his acceptance speech, he referenced Tom being in the building. I don't know how that went down. Tom must have had a separate interest from anybody else because they showed him on the Jumbotron. He was towards the front up close to Sean Payton. So didn't get a chance to see Tom this time, but I'm sure we'll see Tom again in Canton. But really big time, guys. Maybe we all should plan to go. I have said if Cam goes in next year, because the names are swirling around, you guys, for next year. They'll finalize those in the spring. If Cam goes in as a first ballot, I'm going to make another trip to Canton back to back. It's got to be of that magnitude for me to go. It was a magnitude for me to go with Luke going in, but when I heard Drew Brees, it was the icing on the cake. I was like, oh my God. And then to get to high five him, and I got it on video. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm still excited.
I wish you would. Yeah, I forgot to ask you to give me those videos. I'm gonna post them on here for you.
Oh my God! Yeah, I've got them. I'll get those up for you. I definitely got them. I know people are tired of me, but I was just so thrilled that Drew Brees would actually let me high five him. That was just humbling for me because I'm a real fan of Drew Brees. Like seriously,
and
you would think he's a Panther.
Ladies and gentlemen, she was bold AF. Okay, because she was out there. She went all the way to the car. And you shook Tony Dungy's hand.
Yes, I shook Tony Dungy's hand.
God bless him to him. You had even the camera when you went right up to him. So that was cool. I like that.
Yeah, I had my meta glasses on. I had Trina was recording, and I had my glasses on.
And that was great because you were like the only person that really kind of went up to the cars. I didn't see really too many other people doing that. I know you said there was a couple of people.
Yeah, they were all.
I know when I went but that was a while ago when Barry Sanders and John Elway went in. They had the parade too. There was nobody that went up to those cars. Nobody. So yeah, you were bold.
Well, I saw Tony before, and when Tony first got inducted, I was in Canton that year, and I took pictures of him and stuff. But it's so ironic when I said God bless you. As soon as I posted a video, one of our ministers at another church was like, "Yeah, Tony's a member of one of our Church of Christ." I was like, "What?" I was like, "So when I said God bless you, like," and I told Drew the same thing, and I was just like, "God bless you." I should have told that heifer that was with Luke Kiko, like, girl, I started off the Carolina Panthers. Luke used to follow our Twitter page. Get out of here. But I didn't have time. I was just, trying to be, enjoyable in the moment. And I didn't want to have to put my law school up for risk because, any type of physical altercation, I get arrested, then I wouldn't be sitting here with you guys tonight. But anyway, thanks for letting me rant on and on about that. I had a whole 8 minutes of just talking. So let me move on to you guys. Preseason is right now. Dolphins and Commanders are playing. Third quarter, 7 minutes left, and the Commanders are leading. You got the Broncos and Falcons. Broncos beat the dog out of the Falcons, 24-0. There's still a quarter left to be played in like 5 minutes, but I don't know. Tampa Bay and the Jets, they're close, 17-13. Everything's in third quarters. Titans did beat the 49ers yesterday. They got a lot of injuries, y'all. 49ers, we were banking on them. Mike Evans, y'all. Let's just go ahead and talk about that. Already complaining of injuries. And this is just a preseason. I know we still got a couple of weeks before we need to see these guys on display. But should we be expressing any kind of concern right now, especially with him being new to the 49ers? Mm-hmm. Then Nick Bosa, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to say I agree. I'm going to say yes, that the 49ers really have been having injury issues. But at the same time, they showed that through all those injury issues that they still were able to get to the playoffs. They still were able to survive and fight through significant injury with two significant key players. You got Deebo Samuel's back, so that may help them in their wide receiver room. But to have if you got to have a silver lining and one bright spot, you're going to have Stribling, the rookie receiver, he looked really good out there. And I think he had maybe what 6 catches,
Mm-hmm.
82 yards or something like that. I mean, that's that line with a big catch for 32 yards from the backup quarterback. So they they got some hope there at receiver. But yes, Ricky Pearsall and and Mike Evans is it's not good looking good for them in the receiver room. So I just think that they with Shanahan, they're gonna figure some things out. Shanahan is still that dude that has a bag that's really deep. When you have certain players that go down, he's gonna figure out how to pivot and get some other plays going to where they can survive. Can they survive in their division? We already know the Rams are the front runners to be the winner of that division. Seattle is probably likely going to be, for all intents and purposes, right there in the mix. We don't know what Arizona's going to do. I saw some good things from their running back in the preseason game with Jeremiah Love. He looked pretty good. And they got some wide receivers there too, and of course, I mean this is preseason, but they got some wide receivers there, of course, to go along with Brissett. So I think they'll be okay, but I think San Francisco, regardless of the injuries, will still find a way to be sort of in the mix. They'll be either fighting for third or second.
Yeah, I mean,
I,
I don't know,
I, I,
B.
I you know, when you have a plethora of injuries like that every year, it catches up to you. And I think this is the year it's going to catch up to them. I don't really think they're going to be competing for second place. They're going to have a solid third because we don't know what Arizona is going to be about. To tell you the truth, they still don't have a great offensive line. Their defense is kind of suspect. We got to make sure Marvin Harrison knows how to catch a damn ball. So he's still having problems with that, even in training camp. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think San Francisco sometimes the rock just hits the wall, and I don't see. I hope these guys get. I hope these guys get healthy before the season starts, because if that happens, then there's a lot of hope for the 49ers in that division. But if they go into the season with all that Walmart list of injuries, I don't think they're going to make it through the season. I don't care who their coach is. It's just culminating. It just culminates. You just can't keep doing that. It's not going to work for your team if you just keep hitting yourself in the head with it's unfortunate too, because it's not the players' fault. You know what I'm saying? It's the tower's fault. That's what it is. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I hear you, but and I thought the same. They keep proving me wrong. So I'm not going to go against that. I'm just going to say Shanahan, I trust because they figure out a way to get beyond those things. So, I mean, yeah, you prove me wrong. I'm not going to go against you again. I hear what you're saying, but I just think that they have enough to be able to ride the waves and get through the storms.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things. Unfortunately, sometimes the training actually beats players up before they even make it to week one. Some players are still rehabbing from last season's injuries. And then you got suspensions. Today, the NFL handed down their 8 game suspension for James Pierce Jr. 8 games violation of the league's personal conduct policy. This stems from the incident involving his, I guess they're saying she's her ex girlfriend, WNBA player Rakia Jackson from the Chicago Sky. Yeah, ex girlfriend. 2026 February of this year. He actually, of course, is the edge rusher for the Falcons. He was accused of chasing her down and intentionally ramming the rear of her vehicle and subsequently cutting her off to hit her head on with his SUV. Like he could have killed her. And then when the authorities arrived at the scene, he refused to comply with police commands, did a vehicle pursuit for the police, crashed his vehicle, and then resisted officers after a foot chase. He's lucky to be alive too. Because let's be clear, anybody other than they clearly knew he was James Pierce. Because if that had been your run of the mill dude doing all of that, we'd be putting a RIP beside his name. But 8 games, so half the season. He faced felony counts behind that: aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, fleeing and eluding, and resisting an officer with violence, and a misdemeanor count of stalking. He went into this 6 month pretrial intervention program in April. So if he meets all the requirements from that, and of course stays away, like no contact order, and has random drug tests, then he's going to get the charges dropped. But the NFL was just like, despite all of this, this is egregious. And so they went ahead and handed out a very stiff penalty, 8 game suspension. And I'm believing this is without pay, y'all. So now the Falcons' depth chart and defense are having to adjust because that's half your freaking season. How much of an impact do you guys think this have over their depth chart, especially with it being half the season for the Falcons?
Well, they better find Jesus because they've lost two of their ends, their ends. So they better find somebody to fill those spots because they're going to have trouble rushing the passer if that's the case. So, and let me ask you something on a legal standpoint, Sonja. On those charges that were brought up on him, wasn't like 2 of those felony counts?
They are felonies, yes.
Yeah,
Fleeing and eluding is
fleeing, eluding the police, and then vehicular,
yeah,
trying to
it's
commit
the
a homicide,
aggravated
homicide.
assault, aggravated assault with
That are
a deadly
prison.
weapon, which is a vehicle.
Prison times.
Yeah,
Prison time.
some states will incorporate prison incarceration no matter what, even if you get some of it probated. So, and then the fact, like, he just to run her down and then to cut her off head on, like, you just were relentless in chasing this young lady. And so now this is out here. We live in a day and age of technology. This is going to forever be there. Like, no one's going to ever think about him or her and not remember this incident. This is not just somebody pushed somebody or they got into an argument or somebody got slapped. This is a relentless pursuit. And this is probably why the NFL handed down such a stiff penalty. They're like, yeah, this is not just somebody pushing somebody, not even a punch. This is somebody who refused to give up and then put other innocent people in danger by running from the police. Do you know how many people get killed every year from vehicle pursuits? My classmate was one of the ones that died here in Georgia the day after Memorial Day because she was standing in a gas station parking lot. We grew up together. This is my childhood classmate. She was visiting Atlanta and she was standing in a gas station parking lot talking to her sister through the other side of the window to see if she wanted something out of the store. And this guy running from Georgia State Patrol came off the interstate, lost control of the car on the exit, and went airborne into the gas station parking lot and hit the car her sister was in and pushed that car into Shatana and pushed her through an open field because somebody's running from the police. So this thing gets, you hear about it, but it's personal for me because now this is somebody that was on vacation visiting her sisters here. And the sad thing is they were at a park. They were at a park next door and they decided to go get some drinks from the convenience store on the corner. They literally just left just to go get some drinks and they were supposed to go back. And her sister's still in the hospital. Her sister's had countless surgeries and of course she passed at the scene. So it's just horrible. It's just horrible. She passed away, Pink. Thank you though.
No, she was
passed.
talking about the NBA chick.
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah,
WNBA chick. I mean.
That's traumatic.
Yeah.
So
I will
anyway,
say though, I mean, if I can add into that,
yeah,
I will
absolutely.
say, yeah, that I hope this guy gets help because that's not a first incident. There's been some other stuff in college. The reason why he dropped in the draft. So, I mean, not as more egregious as this, but I mean, some things that were there, more behavioral issue things. And so I just hope that he gets the help. I'm pretty sure. I think that that's a part of his deal is to seek some help. And the young lady, she wouldn't press charges. So, I mean, I think she obviously understands in that regard too, as well. Because she could have pressed charges and she did not. She elected not to. I just think that if he doesn't get the help that he needs, then this is going to be a recurring issue, or something worse may happen. Because you saw, if the film doesn't lie, it shows you everything he did. That didn't make any sense at all logically when you see I mean, if somebody was in their right frame of mind, they would have been like, okay, I mean, I got too much to lose here. First of all, I'm
Mhm.
not going to go following her like this and stalking her when there was already wasn't there a restraining order
PRO,
away.
restraining order. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so if you got that much going on to where you're disobeying that and you have no regard, you the officer, you ran into them or trying to peel out, something's going on. Something's going on to where, okay, we need to figure out how to resolve this solution with him. And and he's got to want to do that. Other than that, he's gonna, it's, I think 8 games is sufficient, and he's lucky it could have been more, and it could have been prison time. So,
Hmm.
I mean, if you count those blessings, and then try to do better in life.
I
That's
mean,
pretty much all I can say for that.
yeah, the fact of the matter is, a lot of people don't realize the state doesn't need you to cooperate with bringing charges. If there's sufficient evidence, they have witnesses that recant their stories, that don't want to press charges all the time out of fear. Most of the time, especially in domestic violence situations, it's out of fear that these people don't want to. They don't want to be involved, and then they don't want to go through the whole court process. It's a long, drawn out process of back and forth court. It's not a one appearance and then you're done. This is ongoing, and you don't want to be drugged through that, so you just want to have it done. So the state had enough evidence on their own to present the indictment against him without her cooperation. Because even if, say, nobody saw her get run off the road, they know he was running from the police. They know he led a pursuit. They saw the damage on her car that somebody hit her head on. And in this day and age, with everybody with Ring cameras and Google cameras and stuff, you're not getting away with much. You do a crime in 2026, you're a whole fool, because you may as well just go ahead and get your affairs in order, because you will be caught. Everybody has a camera, everybody. And if they don't have a camera on their house, there's always some type of satellite imagery and flock cameras in the vicinity that will know that you were there.
And
So
and that's
yeah.
that's another thing too. You talk about these chases that happen with these people running from the police, but the police cause a lot of these deaths too, trying to chase them. In fact, I know in some states they have a cease and desist on chases because it's dangerous for not only the person that's running through the crowd, but the police that are chasing them, because the police can either kill somebody or they can be killed running into something. So they got that. And like you said, there's so many cameras. They can take a picture of that license plate, find out where that car is registered to, or find it. That's what you have detectives for, and detectives will find us out and then find you and arrest you on the spot. And then you run, then you're just running on your feet, not in a car, and taking off and trying to hurt people. You know what I'm saying? Or not intentionally trying to hurt people, but putting people in danger's way. So I think that's something that needs to be stopped too. I think police chases need to be stopped. I think you do, if you want to take a chance and trying to kill everybody in a pathway because you're trying to run from the police, then go ahead and take it on somewhere. We'll find you because we got cameras, we got license plate numbers, we got all kinds of stuff. They probably can get the VIN number off the car if they had to.
Yeah,
So
they have
with the
the flock
technology.
cameras. The flock cameras now do have where they can actually get VIN numbers and stuff. It's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you switch places, but in Georgia, they actually passed a law a few years ago to stop police pursuits. There was an Atlanta Braves assistant coach's wife that was killed coming from a game because Georgia State Patrol came through the intersection with no lights on in a vehicle pursuit. And so they've stopped them. And even in the situation with my classmate, they had stopped the pursuit. There was two officers. The second officer happened to see the car because the first officer stopped because they realized this car was literally starting to even back up into traffic. Like he was backing, he had tried to get off one exit and then backed up into I-20, like backed off the ramp into like it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, wait a minute, this guy is really like not carried. And so when he did that, he stopped pursuing. And then what really happened was the vehicle kept driving. The second officer happened to be in the vicinity. However, he didn't realize that that officer wasn't even chasing him. He just happened to see him. So, but the family has definitely said exactly what you're saying. Like, but for y'all chasing him to begin with, because what were you chasing him for? No one still knows. They're not supposed to even activate, and I know because I used to have law enforcement in my family, they're not even supposed to activate lights and sirens unless it's life or death. They can't do it for an accident. They can't do it for anything unless they know for a fact. They're not doing it over a stolen vehicle. They're only doing it if it's life or death. If someone out there's life is being held hostage, they're not even supposed to do it. So no one even knows why they were pulling this car. It hasn't come out if it was stolen or anything. But needless to say, we gonna move on from James here because he's definitely needs to get his lesson learned. The Falcons are in trouble again. They're already having issues with their quarterback decision, James. I don't think you and I have nothing to worry about in the NFC South this season with the Falcons at all.
Well, it's Tyler Shuck can sleep well at night because that dynamic duo they had in the pass rush with Jalen Walker and at least half the season, and James Pierce Jr. will not be playing for the foreseeable future. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I
They-
can sleep at night
Yeah,
well
they
at night too.
coming. And he's coming back week 9. Honestly, that's not enough to do no damage. Your season is pretty much set at week 8. Because if you're not at 500 at week 8, they start eliminating people that's done lost every game but 4 games. Giants fans know that all too well. They're eliminated after week 2 most of the time. But and Cowboys along with them, even though they kind of get in there. But anyway, in other places, we saw Fernando Mendoza, the Las Vegas Raiders rookie quarterback, threw 1 touchdown despite them losing. And he played. They also showed versus that game Pittsburgh Steelers Drew Alar. Both actually look really good in their Thursday night
Mm-hmm.
debut, guys. What did you guys think?
I was gonna say B if you wanted to go, but I mean, yeah, initially Fernando Mendoza looked like he was a little like had some jitters, but he got out of that real quick, and he looked like to me what I heard. I listened to both Keith and Jack this morning on the show, and Jack said something that I agree with that he sort of reminds me of Kirk Cousins, the guy that coincidentally
Yep.
is going to be the starter. And so, and I mentioned, I said that Kirk Cousins, if we had a draft do over, he would actually be a first round draft pick because he played well enough to be a starter, not just a starter, but actually um, a player that can actually win games and get you to the playoffs. And so, I mean,
Hmm.
he was the first quarterback to actually get a fully guaranteed contract with 3 years, 84 million with Minnesota when he first got there. And I mean, again, I Kirk Cousins, his agent, I don't know who he is and
The Hall of
what he
Fame.
does for a living, but
Yeah.
yes,
Kirk
he's able to get that
Cousins.
money. Yes,
Her two change.
yes.
Yeah, you like that? Kirk
And then
Cobain.
he didn't
Yeah.
change his name to Kirk's daddy or his Kirk's uncle, because whoever it is, he must be related the way he treats him with the money, getting in contracts. But Fernando Mendoza looked great. He
Mm-hmm.
held he held his composure very well. He stood there dissecting the defense. Mind you, this is preseason. You know, there's vanilla defenses and vanilla offenses out there, but
Mm-hmm.
for a rookie to get out there and do what he was doing, I was impressed. And let's not just give him credit. Let's give the fourth round draft pick in Mike Washington some credit as well.
Absolutely.
That boy looked great. He actually took off for I knew he was going to break one because at the combine he ran a 4.2 in the 40, and it actually showed on the field when he played for Arkansas. But it showed on the field with that run too. He sort of reminded me of Jonathan Taylor with that speed. He looked a little bit
Yeah,
like him, reminiscent when he hit that sideline, 58 yards, man. I was impressed.
that was big. That was big. I saw that too. B, did you get a chance to check him out?
Yeah. I checked him out, and like what James said, everything. I mean, the number one pick got a lot of camera flashes because he did a very good job. in his start. And again, let's be clear. And to the point that Rob Dizzle made here, they would be better with Mendoza as a starter. I can't really call that because we don't know what the future is going to hold for him. This is only one preseason game. I mean, Drew Aller for Pittsburgh Steelers. That dude he had 3 touchdown scores, 2 passing and 1 rushing. The dude looked like he was playing. He's been playing on that team for years. But again, he wasn't playing with all the starters. He was playing basically with the second and third. It's preseason. You can go about and look all kinds of ways. It was kind of like I had to mention this, but I had to kind of mention the Detroit Cincinnati game. Look, the starters for Cincinnati played. But you know what they managed in 2 drives? 3 points against
That's
second and
it.
third string defensive players. So that kind of concerns me about Cincinnati's offensive line because if you can't get any points but 3 against second and third players, there's problems.
Yeah, you're done.
So
You're done. Stick a fork in you, as you say. And thank you to all the networks that allowed me to share. I was just taking a moment to share. We got to do a quick commercial break, guys. We'll be back in about 47 seconds.
47 seconds. Look at that right on the number.
Get that money, get that pain, like them fellas, get your head in the cave. Get that money, get that pain, like them fellas, get your head in the.
All right, guys, and we are back. Thank you so much for joining us for the second half of Friday with the Fellas, the legal score, all this, that, and the third. We're talking about, of course, our NFL preseasons. Welcome back to James and B as well. And, of course, shout out Pink Fan Fur, the realest real creator out there, and B on the ones and twos for the beat. Congratulations to Pearson on your move-in weekend. And happy heavenly birthday to Judge Ramsey. And as always, we do all of our shows for Mac. So want to definitely put that out there as well. Now there were some roster moves. Now this was a shock to me, guys. Free agent cornerback Terrion Arnold is actually expected to sign with the Seahawks, y'all, despite facing another star with ongoing legal troubles, guys. Were you surprised that he's actually moving on and now going to be with Seattle? That's the first question. And then the second question, what do you think the NFL is going to end up doing in this situation with another star athlete facing legal troubles?
Well, I'll tell you like this. I didn't think that he went with a lot of teams. I mean, he tried out with a lot of teams. I really thought the Jets would probably get him because he has association with AG as defensive coordinator when he was here. So, but the Seattle got him, which surprised me. I really was surprised by Seattle grabbing him because they do have a formidable. They got a really good defense, but I guess they thought they could add. In fact, I think they did talk to the head coach, and they said that he could be an added part of that. He's not going to be a starter, but that adds to the depth. And if he does come there and sign, right now they're just working out the legal issues with him. So that's why he hasn't signed yet. So he's got to find out what's going on with his court dates and all that stuff, and then he'll be able to participate in training camp and into some of the. I mean, I wish the young man well. I really do. In my opinion of Terrion Arnold, when he was drafted, I really did. I understand the Lions filled the need with both of the corners that they got, with Terrion Arnold and Rakestraw.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them going
Breaking
and look at
straw.
Terry and Arnold's no longer with the team, and Rakerstraw is just on his way out because he got hurt again. He's just not. He's just one of those guys that he might have potential, but you ain't gonna never see it because he's always hurt. It's made of glass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, in retrospect, I think though that was probably the bad first and the second round pick. That was bad picks. Then I'll say they'll be bad picks, but I kind of wanted Stingley in that round, the first round instead of Terry and Arnold. But it is what it is. They picked who they picked. He was okay certain plays and other plays he's not great. He's got a lot to learn, and you got to be on the field a lot too. He's another player that has problems with injuries. So along with that and his court dates and stuff like that right now, I hope he gets it together, and I hope he does good things for Seattle. I really do, because he
So
can be that player.
the Lions had an opportunity to get Stingley, or
Yeah, they took Terry. Well, no, actually, I think Stingley went ahead of that because I think
he
Texans
went a lot
grabbed him
higher, right? Yeah,
first. Yeah,
yeah.
but they could. I mean, they moved up to get Terry and Arnold. They moved up a couple spots to get Terry and Arnold. I could have moved up a few more spots to get Stingley, but it is what it is. That's the way draft goes, and that's the way the Lions operation works. So they thought that Terry and Arnold was good, and hey, Brad Holmes is doing really well at that point, and who's to doubt him? You know what I'm saying? So, but it didn't happen. So it is what it is. Like I said, you can't win them all. You can't win them all. But I hope Terry and Arnold does a good job for Seattle. I thought if he signs with them.
You agree,
Well, my
James?
question is, are he over his legal issues? I mean, isn't he still
Mm-hmm.
there's still some things going on there?
That's
So we don't know. I mean, I obviously, if you're gonna move, and I mean, he was allowed to go out on bond for $1 million, and the situation's not over. Charges haven't been dropped yet. Those guys, I think, are still in. The guys that were with that actually did the issue, they're still in jail, right?
mm-hmm,
So, and they're the ones ratted him out. And so, I don't know. I hope his name gets clear in this situation, and I hope he's not wasn't really a part of the situation. But I mean, we just got to let the legal situation play out. And if he is, Seattle's a good place for him to be. I think like I agree with B that he'll be more of a depth piece than a starter, and he can contribute. I mean, he probably won't be the first round projected player that they were looking for. I mean, that Detroit was looking for, but he'll be an interesting depth piece. I mean, he's good enough to be a depth
mm-hmm,
piece. I don't know. Was he injury prone too as well? There was
mm-hmm.
some injury issues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean,
So that didn't
it
help
is
him
what
out
it is.
either. Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure they got him for cheap, considering all the situation,
A
the
$2
potential
hole.
legal issues.
Damn. They haven't signed him yet, there, Sonya. But yeah, $2. Oh, wow. Okay. Anyway, with Terry and Arnold,
Wow.
we got any other legal news we want to call somebody?
Look, I do want to just put a small plug in because I kind of glazed over this. How the
Pause.
Bron
Pause. Pause. $2 holes and small plugins. Oh my goodness. Pause.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even think about that. See, now y'all done went further than what I was thinking about. But now I get you. So just want to put a small comma in this small part that I forgot to mention earlier. When we were talking about how the
Of
Broncos
course you
were
do.
beating down, of course, I could just see that. Good to see you as well. You seem like that type of person. I could just tell by your profile picture. Um, he could get a buffet at $2. Get him two or three. Anyway, I forgot to mention, James, you would like this part that, of course, the Broncos beat down the Falcons. It's only preseason, but Sean Payton did an interview a few minutes ago, and he didn't miss an opportunity to throw some shade. He literally was like, "Oh, I see that a lot of people here dressed up as empty seats tonight." So he was literally shading them even in the preseason, 15 seasons with the Saints, of course. That's 30 occasions twice a year to see them. He still has that love, hate, that love, no love, more hate relationship, and I love to see anybody that's on that bandwagon. I'm with them all the way.
Oh,
Um,
he's Petty Peyton for sure. He is definitely Petty Peyton.
yeah, you remember when y'all tried to say that to me? You're like, yeah, the petty sports lady. When I was
Uh, it's true. This
It's
is we
true.
tell no lies here. We tell no lies here.
the petty sports lady, Pink called me. Pink gave me the name, the pretty sports lady. So I was like, oh, Pink, that's so sweet. I like that. And then you guys were like, no, you put that R in there. You need to take the R out. It's the petty sports lady. Uh,
Yeah.
Yes.
so anyway, all right.
Again,
So
Petty
no
sports
lies
lady.
are told. No
no
lies are
lies
told.
detected. The Lions game against the Bengals, Joe Burrow didn't even do any reps or anything. He watched from the sidelines. Be of course a close game of like James said, it's a Manila offense and defense right now. But I mean, I would have thought he would at least thrown a couple of downs.
He
No,
did.
he
He
started.
was
He
in
did. He
two.
had two
He was in
drives.
two
The
drives.
starters completely played two drives. Chase
That's
and
Their
it.
offensive line did not look good. And
yeah,
let's get it straight here. They are trying to implement a different style offense. They're under center more, and that's what they were trying to
Safety
do. And
too.
of course, their offensive line, Orlando Brown, gave up a couple big sacks. No, mind you, the first two plays they had a good run from Chase Brown, and the second play was a
hmm
16-yard dart from Joe Burrow to Jamar
Mhm.
Chase. So you're going to see the better of them. But I just think that in the situations where they were in third down and long, I mean, or third and maybe short or moderate, they didn't look good at all, particularly their offense. So that's something to keep an eye out for and see how they're doing. Because again, we're looking at this offense at being top five, and so if you're not able to keep Joe upright, the rest of this doesn't mean anything.
Joe,
yeah.
they got
Offensive
him
line is
even.
everything. You can
They even
have the
got it's.
Ferrari,
I
but if
can't.
you ain't got the driver out there, the bumpers, it ain't gonna work for
Yep.
you. Sorry.
I can't even say Joe cool no more. It's more like Joe the old man now. Like you gotta prop him up. It's like Joe could be either one. It could be Joe cool, like he shows up with a different color hair, or Joe could be like your great grandfather. And right now, Joe Burrow is like being buried once again. And I love the Bengals. Like they're my AFC team. I haven't been able to like really root for them in a long time. I don't even watch them because they're just not they. They say who they. They are. It's not them. They're not the they. Patriots game ended in a tie versus the Colts, 13-13, and their Colts ST coordinator suffered a late knee injury. Guys, I mean, once again, people complain about turf and they complain about the lack of conditioning in some of these athletes. If you're going down there buying little Debbie cakes every day during the off season and you've done no conditioning, but every little bit like you've done just a brisk walk instead of what you normally do, you're in trouble because now your muscles, all you got to do is go 2 or 3 weeks without muscle use and it starts to deteriorate. And I only know that because when I had my leg casted, I didn't believe that. But when they took the cast off 6 weeks later, my right leg was tiny. There was no muscle definition at all. It was significantly smaller than the left leg because muscle deterioration. So as an athlete, you can imagine their off season is short. They don't even have time to be buying little Debbie cakes, but they do.
Well, they got time to buy those Debbie cakes and $2 O's. But anyway,
And $2 hose,
yeah.
Zebra
But that
cakes.
special. I
zebra
mean,
cake.
coaches in
Well,
general.
zebra cakes only if your mom and dad are black and white, so you get zebra
Yeah,
cakes.
because I don't like zebra cakes.
Well,
I
damn, you
always
gotta want to
like
have zebra
nutty
cakes
bars.
if your parents are mixed. That's
Zebra cakes. So B, that would be your kids.
yeah, that would be my kids. They're zebra cakes.
You got
Anyway,
some. First of all, we don't want to talk about B. Talk about his kids with zebra cakes with.
This sounds like an unprofessional sports
anyway,
episode,
yeah,
Yes.
it's going that way pretty much.
courtesy of me.
But two things I want to point out here that's a coach too, and remember, coaches aren't as conditioned as the players are. You got very few coaches in this league that are like you see Dan Campbell out there, you see Vrabel out there, you see who else is another McVay out there. Those guys will
Hmm.
go out there and do 10 and ups with the players and stuff like that,
Yep.
and do all that kind of stuff. So, special team coaches, really, do you think they actually do any of that stuff? Hell
Well,
no, they
not
don't. They're
him.
special team
Just in
coaches.
general, yeah, but just in general, not necessarily the special teams coach. I'm just saying in general, we did an episode last week and we talked about my backup quarterback, Mr. King, is now down, that the Panthers had to go out and sign Trask. So now we got four quarterbacks because they're not sure,
In the
even though they
trash.
said some, yeah, Trask. They don't know how serious this hamstring injury is. So now everybody was rah, 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 crown the king. And now he's had to put his crown down and go get rehabbed. So it's almost like this is why, y'all, we talked about last season how Roger Goodell really wants like a 20-week game and he only wants two preseasons. This is honestly the reason why. We don't need four preseason games. Now, I don't agree with 20 weeks of play. Let's be clear. But we don't need four preseasons. Because when you add four preseasons to what are we at 17? That's still
Well,
22
it's
games.
actually three, but it's four for people that play the Hall of Fame game. So your team and
Arizona.
Arizona will have four games, but it's
And
really
then an
three. But they
18
should cut it down.
and then
They
an
really should cut
18
it down
week
more.
and then an 18-week season with one bye. So that's 17 plus 4. That's
Mm-hmm.
21 games. That's 21 weeks right there.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Minus the
brutal.
playoffs. If you get to the playoffs, it's more.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's talk about that because we're definitely going back. I'm going to say that about my Panthers, even though I don't know because, we're playing all the contenders that went. So it's going to be a difficult season. But by the way, Steve Smith's got us going 8-9. I don't like that, but I shared that with you guys before we got on here. Y'all probably saw on Instagram. He got us going 8-9 because he feel like the teams that we happened to beat last year,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be ready for us this year, like Green Bay, the Rams during the regular season. Like because we gonna see these folks again because we were in the playoffs. So I think it would be better if only the playoffs got.
Got
Got
extended.
extended.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I can't see because I'm
Uh,
on my phone. Got excited,
uh,
extended,
extended, yeah. I like this though. They do
two
if they're
buys.
going to
Yes,
do two
Tink.
buys is good. Yeah,
I
I think
love
two
that.
buys would be good. Yeah,
Especially because for the
and
Panthers
and they
this
need to
year,
do
our
them.
buy,
But
our buy is week 4 or 5. We got an early buy. It's gonna be
and those
brutal.
two buys, they need to do them at the same time for every team. So you might have a week where there's no football in between because you want these people to have the buy at the same time. I think that's another problem with the NFL too, is that all these teams get different buys at different times of the year just to keep football going. But if you get a bye week in 5, that don't do nothing for your team if you got injuries.
Yeah.
Because you like, and then you get new injuries, and then you got to wait another 8 weeks. Ah, no.
Yeah,
See,
because if you
there's
think
something wrong
about
with that whole
because we're
setup.
already playing, that's gonna be week 6 for
Mm-hmm.
us. That's gonna be week six
I
for
agree,
us
Pink.
already. Because if we played the preseason, that the week 5, but I think this. I think everybody should get a bye before week 9, right? Because that's the halfway, and then everybody should get a second break around like week 15 or 16. I think it should be all like whoever was on the first bye, they get the opposite bye for. Like I feel like there should be two reprieves because it's just such a brutal sport, and I'm gonna say this. Listening to Roger Craig's acceptance speech, I talked to you guys about this in the group chat.
Mm-hmm.
I, I was wondering because I saw him there, and I was like, why is he not at the podium doing his speech live? And when I tell you he did his narrative like an attorney would have, he waited until the end to say, and this is why I'm not at the podium. He didn't start off saying, I like to thank everybody. I can't do this live because this, and it was like a build up, and he talks about everything, and then he talks about having this dementia type brain injury that's a result of the hits he took. Now he looked good. I saw him. He was the
Mm-hmm.
first float. I don't even think I got a picture of him on the float because they got him through there so fast, y'all. I didn't even realize who he was at the parade. That's like he was right behind the very introduction. And so when you hear that he's dealing with that, and dementia means sometimes you're not remembering stuff. It was heartbreaking. There were people crying in the audience. I have a friend that was with me, Trina. She was crying. She was sitting there. I just had to go numb because I couldn't believe that that's what he was saying. Like that he really went through this. But then when you look at that in the span of we as fans just want to see the action, and we don't think about what's after behind the scenes. There's a lady on Instagram, I don't know her name, it just came up on my news feed. She had her husband, I guess he's in his 50s, and she was like, this is what it goes on after football. And like, she was having to help him walk through the house. He was going through extensive physical therapy every week, just for basic living abilities, just be able to care for himself. Because
Mm-hmm.
even in his 50s, he's been so hurt in the game. And this is not just your stars that are hurt. You got to think, if you have the ball and you get tackled and 10 people land on you, that is 2,000 pounds. If everybody that lands on you is 200 and up, you do the math. That's 2,000 pounds of weight on you every time you get tackled. And even though they have on pads, you can't absorb the blow of that type of impact of somebody running at you at full speed or anything forever. And it just makes you think, we love the game, we're appreciative of the game. The game is the reason why we're all here tonight talking about it. So we just have to be a little more cognizant about, because I was one of these people like, yes, I want 20 weeks. But then when you hear things like that, you're like, no, the human heart I have for a fellow man is not gonna say I want them to get beat up even more, 2 more weeks, even if that would save them recovery time.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of changes in the NFL that need to happen too. I think, like, I would really say that a player's career probably should last 10 years, and that's it. Should have a 10-year coach, because you could get other players. I mean, the plethora of football players that come into the league, you got a whole bunch of people that play, a whole bunch of kids that play high school football. Those kids get scholarships or whatever the case is to go on to the next level. There's a lot of people in that, and then they get shifted into the pros, which is a lot less people in that. You know what I'm saying? So there is a system going on where you can still funnel people in the NFL, but I think players should just like serve 10 years, if that long, because it's a rough sport. You want to get out, but see, the problem is with the NFL, they don't want to give money to their players. They care about Goodell cares. This is what I don't like about Goodell. Goodell cares about the NFL, the Shield, but he don't care about the people who provide that action for the Shield, which are the people that work, the players. He don't care nothing about them. All this fake CTE stuff he be doing, man, get on with that. You're not even trying. You're just making a feigned effort to say something like that. That's where it's got to come from, though. It's got to come from the commissioner, and the commissioner's got to care about these people because they're making you the money, buddy, regardless of what you want to say. So
Yeah,
He's an attorney.
absolutely.
They don't care about the players.
He's a lawyer? I didn't know he was a lawyer.
I,
he's
I
a
believe so.
lawyer.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, he
Oh
is a
my
lawyer. Yes.
God. I know a lot of refs and stuff are. All right, moving along. Saturday's got a slate of games as well. And by the way, excuse me, James B and myself will be talking college here next week. We're gonna try to delve into some of that preseason action. It's so much that's gonna happen at one time that we're gonna have to just fly through it. But we're
About
gonna
that
get there.
action, boss.
About that action, boss, right? Oh my gosh. So listen, tomorrow my guys are back at it. The Carolina Panthers will be taking on the Buffalo Bills. We're going to get a chance to see Jonathan Brooks coming back after that horrific injury and re-injury. He's expected to see reps for tomorrow, as well as Chuba Hubbard, one of our vets now, against the Buffalo Bills tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Vikings are taking on the Tinies. That's the Giants. Kyler Murray will be playing briefly with the Vikings, and we will see Odell Beckham Jr. suit up again, guys, for New York. I mean, wow. Cleveland Browns at the Bears at 1 o'clock. Let's take a small pause there. What are y'all's thoughts about the first matchups? I mean, Jonathan Brooks coming back. Carolina cleaned house of their medical crew last year because they felt like he was cleared too early and he sustained a re-injury.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody lost their jobs behind that. They got a new medical training staff in there now that's supposed to make sure they do what they got to do. And so Chuba is
Chuba is
what?
what a week. Mm-hmm.
I guess week to week.
Mm-hmm.
But Chuba should be okay. But Jonathan Brooks is who we're really looking at. What do you guys think about that? And then of course OBJ coming back with Kyler Murray now in the Vikings, and then the Cleveland Chicago game.
Go ahead, James. I talk too much.
You don't talk at all, sir. I think I talk too much.
No, I
Odell
think it's me.
Beckham
We got it.
is, aka Old D Beckham, is
Mhm.
a little bit old
Old
now, and I
English.
think yes, injury prone. I don't think it moves the needle for him. I mean, it sounds nice coming back to the Giants. He returns back home to the team that drafted him. He'll probably be the number one receiver until Malik Neighbors gets back.
Mm,
Um,
they were talking about him competing for the third spot, so I don't know about that number one spot stuff.
I mean, he'll probably be the. I mean, between him and Slayton, Slayton's the number two, and between him and Slayton right now, I think he'll
Slayton's
probably
definitely
just.
going to be
I'm
the
I'm
number
just
one.
yeah,
It ain't going
Slayton's.
to be
I don't know.
Odell. Odell ain't going to
Okay,
be number one. I just
I
don't
mean in the
think that.
preseason. I'm saying the preseason. I'm
The
thinking.
preseason, yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, he'll be the number one. I'm not saying the main starter
Because they
when
probably
the regular
won't play
season
the
comes.
starters in the first place, but yeah,
For sure.
you got it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you.
So he'll get a good bit of playing time here, getting more acclimated to the game again, and it'll be just a nice ring to it that Odell Beckham's back in New York. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Carolina.
Yes, sir.
I I think the defense looks really good. Defense is stacked. And so they're going to be a problem defensively, in not just in the NFC South, but I think throughout whatever, even the tough games they're going to play, it's going to be on Bryce Young. Bryce Young, their receivers. I know Tedero McMillan is definitely a really good player coming back. Obviously, he's healthy, so that's going to be really good for you guys. I think your offensive line is boosted up. So preseason, everybody's playing vanilla right now. I like them to go to. If they're going to Buffalo,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I like them to go to Buffalo and probably get a win preseason wise. I can't wait to see the running back. I know coming out of Texas, Brooks was highly touted. So
Mhm.
I'd like to see him healthy and get some stuff going and get his confidence up. Just not too healthy, sir. You got to play the Saints again.
Horns up
But
for
Ah,
I think
Brooks.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But
we gonna be ready though.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I think
I think
that's
so.
one of the things I want to see too with Carol. I want to see Jonathan Brooks because he definitely needs to get the reps, and I'm glad they got rid of the medical staff that they
Mhm.
had on Carolina for
Everybody.
making that bad misjudgment on there. So hopefully he can get himself together and get where he needs to be at. And that was one of the better running backs coming out of college. So let's get that to him. He's got 3 preseason games to show his worth. Let's go. Let's do that.
Yeah, they didn't
Um,
care if you handed out an aspirin in Carolina, you were losing your job.
I think the thing that I wanted to see most about Carolina was a king, but he's hurt. So that
Yeah.
kind of puts a dapster on. I don't want to see trash.
Yeah.
Do you know if
Kenny Pickett
the
is our number
starters?
two,
Well, do you
right?
think they're going to have any starters playing in that game?
So the only starter they're saying is Chuba and Jonathan Brooks right now. I'm
Of course.
expecting they're probably gonna put Trask out there just so they can see what he's working with to see if he's a solid contender to even stay on the roster because they didn't sign him. They signed him, but they haven't given him a contract. And I think KP has a 1 year, so he's pretty much a solid backup over there already. And they were trying to come in with their third string just so that they could kind of maybe pick it on out of there after a year's time, like somebody could come in and learn the scheme and just be ready. Or you never know if you're like unfortunate like Arizona was back in 2015 where they went through 3 quarterbacks. And I think that's how honestly the Panthers made it all the way to the Super Bowl because they had ran through all three of their starting quarterbacks. They were on their fourth string quarterback when we went to the playoffs against them, and we eliminated them right away and went on to play Seattle. That was when Larry Fitzgerald was still there. So I mean, you just never know. And I agree with what James said about Old English Beckham Jr. Are you? What do you guys think about Kyler Murray playing? I mean, he's becoming a journeyman a little bit now. Minnesota just they have not recovered since they fumbled Sam Darnold.
Well, they haven't recovered. Yeah, I think that JJ, they're giving Kyler Murray a start because they need to give him a start because he needs to learn as much as that offense as he possibly can because he's just thrown into it. JJ McCarthy will get that. I think they got another quarterback too that they're trying out as well, that'll play some of the game. But yeah, I think Kyler just needs to get the reps first, as a starter. And I think they'll probably have the first team on for at least maybe a drive or two, and then they'll get him off. So just so he can work with that, he needs to learn that offense. I mean, he's doing a pretty good job, but he really does need to keep getting reps for that. So I don't
Yeah,
mind him
that,
being there.
and at the top of the hour, I heard James's alarm just go off because it's time for him to go turn in. They got an early morning tomorrow. Real quick, the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing James's Saints tomorrow at 4 p.m. Travis Hunter is expected to log highly anticipated snaps on both offense and defense. We're gonna get a chance to see him do that. The Rams are playing the Chefs at 4 p.m. Stetson Bennett handling the backup duties for the Rams. Go figure. And the Eagles are playing the Ravens at
Sexy,
7
sexy.
p.m. Followed by the Dallas Cowboys versus Seattle at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is all the time we have for now, guys. We appreciate the likes, loves, comments, and shares. Make sure you join us tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. for James and B with the debate show. And James, you have a plug you want to talk about?
Shout out LSU. I know we're talking about next week. We're talking about college. Shout out
Yes.
LSU and shout out New Orleans Saints.
Okay, he's double go. Go Saints, go Tigers. All right, and of course, you guys will join me tomorrow at 4 p.m. for the legal score. I am going to be talking to you guys. Believe it or not, this is a 30-year-old case that has now come into the forefront. The murder of Tupac Shakur. They have finally indicted Keefe D. He is standing trial. Jury was seated today. I'll be catching everybody up that was not here 30 years ago, who does not know about the greatest rapper alive murder. I was a big Tupac fan. I'll be covering that story tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on McGrath Podcast Network. And we got the big Sunday morning sports show coming up 8 a.m. Stay here, BW Flicks, and all and more Pink Fan Fur and Company on Thursday, and a whole plethora of shows, TJ Sports, the baseball shows, everything. We appreciate everybody. Have an amazing week and good night.